let's understand the life cycle of an investor with you. How it, the first thing, I mean, your relationship with the investor starts with a pitch. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to give a pitch to the investor for your project. You're going to sell your idea, your concept, your project to the investor. The investor will do initial assessment. They'll assess your project, okay, based on their own parameters, what are various parameters they would have, okay. And based on that initial assessment, if the investor likes your idea, then they may do due diligence. Now, what is due diligence? Due diligence is verifying the facts that you have claimed. If you have claimed the market size is so big, they will do their own due diligence. If you claim that I have done this much of revenue, they will check that. They may even talk to the customers. You may say that I got so many vendors. This is the kind of relationship I have with my customer. They are very happy, extremely happy. Okay, they are rebuying again from me. So that's the customer. Whatever you may claim a lot of things when you are doing a pitch, right? They may verify. At the initial stage, at the angel stage, this is largely absent because there is not much to do due diligence. Okay, and the amount, the quantum of money also that investors putting is less. But as the level goes up, the due diligence also becomes more stringent, stronger, more time consuming. Okay, generally at a VC level, the due diligence go as high as about 3 months time. Okay, even more also perhaps. They may appoint agencies to do due diligence. They will check your accounts, they will talk to your team, they will verify your team, they will talk to your vendors, customers, everybody. Yeah, it happens. And they will ensure that whatever you are claiming is true. If something is found fishy, you are claiming something, and if they found something negative or adverse of that, then they will become alert. So, please do not make tall claims. Clear? Once the due diligence is done, and if they like your project, if they decide to fund you, then they will give you something called term sheet. A terms is a initial basic version of an agreement. So, the investor is going to give you a term sheet. Once the investor decides that he has liked your idea, he has liked your project, and he wants to put money, then he is going to give you a 2-3 pager of terms on which he is going to put money. Now, the term sheet is something, a basic version of an agreement, that on these terms I am going to put money. Yeah. So, of course, you will go through the term sheet, and at this stage, if you have anything to negotiate the clauses, and if you feel that you need to negotiate even those terms, certain terms, then you can go back to investor and try to negotiate that. Or if you do not understand some of the terms, then please go and ask the investor, please explain to me, I do not understand what does it mean. Yeah, and investor definitely would ensure that he himself will not sit with you, but he will put his lawyer or somebody on the job to explain you what the terms mean. And if during the discussion, if you feel that when he is explaining, certain thing more needs to be added into the terms based on what he is explaining, please get him added that. If you are saying this, please add that. But this is all negotiable. Clear? Of course, you do not have a strong bargaining power because you are going to take money, but yeah, you definitely have some bargaining power. Clear? After term sheet, once you have signed the term sheet, okay, then the next thing is the investor is going to give you an agreement. Now, agreement is going to be a good large document having at least 50, 60, 70, 80 pages. Okay, it's not, and you got to understand the agreement. Okay, and again, this time let me tell you, for God's sake, for your sake, not God's sake, for your sake, do not go to lawyer with this agreement, or even for that early term sheet also. Whom will you go to? Nobody, not even CA. You yourself are going to read the agreement. If it's 70 pages, it's boring document. First of all, it should not be boring because you are getting money on that document. Okay, so it should be more interesting than a novel. But nevertheless, you have to read a document, understand each and every clause. If you don't understand, mark those clauses, go and talk to the investor or talk to whoever understands that. So go to somebody, maybe go to your mentor, come to us, go to your investor, but understand and then only sign the agreement. Lawyers I mean, this is my philosophy. You have to consult lawyer only when you have to do litigation. For documentation work, you should be doing your own documentation as an entrepreneur. You should learn to draft your own agreements. Yeah, lawyer should be appointed only for litigation purpose. जब कोर्ट पे केस लड़ना है तो. So for this agreement also, don't get a lawyer because lawyer will mess up. And I have a case study in one of the cases where we agreed to fund at a startup stage, in fact at the idea stage. We decided to fund somebody 75 lakh rupees at startup stage. That entrepreneur considered a lawyer. That person was a good friend of mine. I kept on telling her, don't, you please just heed to me what I'm saying. Okay, this is some of the, she didn't, she considered a lawyer drafted so many different agreements. So, and because of the, you know, and I was feeling so embarrassed when she came with that agreement and I was knowing that, I told her don't please discuss all this, but still in the room there were investors, she was there, I was a middleman trying to broker the deal between both of them, and she went on talking all this, and obviously these investors got offended, and yet they decided to agree to fund because of me, but they didn't wanted certain clause. She insisted, "No, my lawyer said, ये clause होना ही चाहिए." Are some clauses you cannot dump some clause on our investors. They are giving you money. It's they are putting. In fact, they are taking a more risk than you are taking. Clear? So lawyers ka kaam, because I am not blaming lawyer because he is learnt and his job is to think from that angle. So, and when you're paying a lawyer, you are consultant, he has to show his skill ना. अरे मैंने ये सब करके दिया आपको. He doesn't understand कि funding है.
Sometimes technical language has to be.
There is no technical language nowadays. Please read nowadays agreement. They are all in plain English. I don't consult. I mean, of course, in a business, we have to every time you have to keep on drafting MOUs, agreements. I had never ever consulted a lawyer. I draft my own. बैठ जाओ टेबल पे. We prepare. What are the clauses? Normal standard clauses है. This is the standard agreement. I mean, we both the parties agree something. You make a note of it. Simple हो गया. Clear है? So agreements, please don't consult a lawyer. Then once the agreement is signed, then there could be a capital. That's the time when investor will put money in your bank account. That's called capital infusion. So he'll put the money in your, he'll transfer money to your bank. Clear? Now the money has to come in one go. It cannot be in bits and pieces. If investor tells you 50 lakh rupees, but you know what? अच्छा देखो अभी कितना चाहिए? सर अभी 5 लाख चाहिए. ये ले 5 लाख रुपये. ओके. फिर अगले महीने अभी इस बार का क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है? सर इस बार 3.5 लाख चाहिए. अच्छा ये ले 3.5 लाख रुपये. ओके. फिर अगले महीने आना. अभी कितना चाहिए? सर इस बार थोड़ा खर्चा ज़्यादा है, 7 लाख चाहिए. अच्छा ये ले 7 लाख का चेक होता है. ऐसा नहीं चलता. The money has to come in one go. At the most, especially at the earlier stage, at the HNA stage, angel stage, okay, because that 50 lakh rupees, nobody keeps a liquidity in one. So he may ask for some time that, okay, right now what do you want? Immediately tell me, you want 10 lakh rupees, okay, here 10 lakh rupees, the remaining 40 lakh rupees you will get in 15 days time or maximum 1 month's time. I mean, 1 month also is too long, really speaking. Why it has to come in one go? Because for two reasons. One, you had struck a deal, you had decided between both of you, you had decided some value of a company. Today, let's say 50 lakh rupees, 20%. Your value of the company is 2.5 crores today. Every day you are working on that company. Every day you are adding some value to the company. Every day you are adding customer, you are performing something, you are doing some duties, you are adding a technology, you are doing something, right? Every day your value is going up. In 6 months' time, you are expected, as per what the calculation we saw, you are going to increase the value to 10 times. If that money comes in 6 months' time, no point. Because let's say the last chunk come in the 6th month. Let's say last chunk he gives in bits and pieces, last month chunk come in 6 month time, and that's the time when you are raising new money. Okay. The investor who is new investors coming in, अगले महीने तेरे कंपनी की वैल्यू 2.5 करोड़ की थी, अब तू मेरे से 20 करोड़ की वैल्यूएशन कैसे मांग रहा है? You lose your bargaining power because that's the money you got at that valuation. आप समझे मेरी बात? So that's why I hope you understand this calculation. So your money has to come in one go. One. Number two, what are you giving against the money? Equity. So obviously, if you have to give him 20% share, only when you receive money, then only you can issue the share. So, if you use in bits and pieces, how are you going to issue shares? You cannot issue shares in bits and pieces every time. चल आज ये ले लो 5 शेयर पकड़ ले चल ले कितने जीत रहे 3 लाख दी ना 3 लाख की इतने के शेयर होते ले पकड़ वापस अगले महीने आ दो शेयर लेने के लिए मेरे पास ऐसे नहीं होता clear so money has to come largely in one quantum one at the most two and that too within a short period of time clear
you also decided to spend it in 6 months time
of course so that he is giving no I'm saying what are you spending he says I'll give so a lot of we have seen some neo investors or so called investors okay he'll tell entrepreneur देखो जितना रिक्वायरमेंट है ना मैं तेको उतना दूंगा तो बेचारा और entrepreneur लगे हुए हर महीने जाके सर वो बोले अच्छा इस बार के बैलेंस शीट दिखा इस बार का ये दिखा इस सब दिखा तब जाके वो थोड़ा पूरी छोड़ेगा अरे ऐसा नहीं होता a good investor a proper angel investor will give you money in one go he is not going to make you run every time so when you are giving money as giving equity okay usually you have to ensure and even the investor will also ensure that for first 2 rounds okay your equity your percentage in the equity in the company between you and your co-founder your partner should not go below 51% okay by VC stage when you reach to VC stage it will go by below 15% you can't help it but at least for first couple of rounds angel and the seed funding okay it should not go below 51% reason being initially the motivation factor of every entrepreneur is my company my idea my business okay it's all about me okay then so obviously if the percentage goes up beyond 15% you lose the controlling stake the motivation factor for the entrepreneur goes down clear because suddenly he feels now it's no more my company अरे मैं तो इसमें हो ही नहीं initially that's why an investor also will ensure that you don't dilute much second reason also that even if you dilute much right now you won't have enough left in the later stage so if you dilute 40% right away so at later stage you will not have much left to dilute so better you should dilute less this time and this is very important all of you please note every percentage counts if you work out 1% की कीमत can become crores
While in the beginning, you must negotiate to reduce the percentage.
of course you will lower the percentage better for you you are getting a higher valuation of the company okay now at a VC stage you will go below 15% but by that time your motivation factor would have changed okay now your company is growing now you are like at a VC stage let's say your company is valued at 140 crores 150 crores whatever we just worked out suddenly your motivation is now no more of ye meri company now your motivation would to build a company further to make it a global company right you want to build a 1,000 crore empire and then maybe down the line 10,000 crore empire and that's how you want to grow so your motivation changes thereafter so for example Bansals of Flipkart today okay it's though they were the promoter of the company but today even at 5% share okay they don't have that ye meri company anymore it's the company largely now belongs to the investors but their motivation has now changed now they want to become like an Amazon they would be dreaming I'm sure that they also want to become a global company like Amazon okay so that's why at initial stages because entrepreneur is more possessive about his idea or her idea company venture people team so that's why 15% below जाएगा तो entrepreneur may feel little morally down कि यार though it's not my company anymore clear then of course your business starts continuing and what is his role then his role is to do a management support in the sense these guys will support you in terms of his contacts his advices if you got stuck somewhere he'll help you whatever so basically he ensures that you are moving you're progressing he may of course he may ask you report he may ask you about insights of your business whatever he is going to ask some information and you are bound to give and obviously you should be happily giving because he is also in a way he has become a partner in a business right and if you share with him even if your problems also you share with him even something where you failed share with him he may help you to overcome those challenges clear and then with this the value of a company appreciates right he waits for the appreciation of the company and one day he takes a exit investors are not going to be with you for life. One day they are going to take an exit. Clear? All of you? Okay. So, now at this stage, let me bring in Niren. Niren is managing partner of Novus, one of the very tier one of the most prestigious venture capitalists, and a good friend of us. Okay. So, in fact, in one of my earlier companies, I have raised money through Niren, okay, Series A, and I would like to bring him in. So, Niren, what all things you look while you are doing a due diligence?
What you're really doing is getting into a lot more detail. Now here typically we call up a lot of people. We have a lot of experts on our roles, we have advisors, we'll call them up and say, hey, this gentleman is starting a X and Y company. What do you think about the need? What do you think about, are there other current companies? What is the competition, right? Can these people make money? Do you think that the regulation is correct for this? Right? There are hundreds and hundreds of things which we will look at, right? And we will take the entire due diligence and we will put that all together in a big document where we will go back to our investment company for approval.
Great. So, thanks Niren. What he meant was investment committee. So, each of these investors, especially a VC, is a VC, venture capitalist. Okay. So, they have an investment committee, and once they assess, then the docket is sent to the investment committee and they decide whether to fund or no. So, basically it goes to two level, because $5 million, 35 crores or maybe more. Okay. Obviously, you require more people to put their heads into. Yeah.